Hey everyone, this is Stephen Strawn at Cast Iron Cookware, where you can find information to help you better collect, restore, and use cast iron cookware. I've had a lot of people ask me about my little Foundry of the Shoals skillet, and I thought I'd just share a little bit about it, and I'm going to do that coming right up. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's purchased my product, Easy Beezy Cast Iron Seasoning. The purchase of this product helps keep this channel going, and I just want to say thank you so very much. So let's get on into the video. I've had a lot of people ask me about this little Foundry of the Shoals skillet, and I've even had people say, it's always 3 o'clock on your channel. Well, that's because my clock doesn't work. It is right twice a day. Now this one doesn't have a second hand on it, but I have seen those that did have a second hand. I believe it was actually made with a second hand on it. This one here doesn't have the factory hands, I don't believe. I've got a few pictures, and here's the inner workings right here. It's a battery type, and I believe this is a little more modern than what you would see. It says made from the original pattern of a cast iron skillet. Now, this one here has 4 notches, and I think because it's a clock. I mean, you need the notches at, 1, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. We don't have to have them, but it's nice. But either way, this one looks a lot like a Martin stove and range style handle. Even the skillet looks like a Martin stove and range, sort of, not all the way. The Foundry of the Shoals was in very close proximity to the Martin stove and range. Another little key detail right here, I forgot to show it. It has a little notch. It tells me that this one here was probably originally designed to have an electric cord to power it. That, or it may have been battery, and they assumed it was going to be electric to begin with and changed their mind. I don't know really. Now the paint is smudged just a little bit in a few places, even right around the lettering. Somebody might have bumped it with their finger or something, who knows. But it's a nice little piece, and I've had it hanging on my wall for a long time. It's not right directly behind me like it used to be. On all of my old videos, it was right there behind me, and I had to rearrange my wall just a little bit. But I really like this piece. It's like a number 5 skillet, about that size. It's not really a skillet. It was actually made to be a clock from the very beginning. These letters are raised, so it's not a skillet that was made into a clock. It's a clock skillet made to be a clock skillet, or skillet clock, whatever how you want to go with it. As far as I know, the Foundry of the Shoals, they made some cast iron cookware and some household items that were made out of cast iron. And I believe that it was founded somewhere in the late 1800s. I've seen a couple of things that said 1888. And they went about 115 years and closed somewhere around 2002, which was not very long ago if you look at the long term. So 2002, and it went out, but I believe, like all others, they were struggling a lot in the 80s and the 90s, and eventually they just had to close. One thing I'm really curious about, and I don't have a lot of information because there's not a lot of information on Martin stove and range or King stove and range, or also the Foundry of the Shoals during that time in that particular area around Florence in North Alabama. But I believe there for a little bit, some of them even collaborated back and forth. And that may have something to do with the reasoning behind it looking somewhat like a Martin stove and range skillet. But not really sure. If you have information, please leave it in the comments. I'm sure the rest of the viewers would love to read those comments if you have information that I don't know about, because I don't have a lot. But I did want to share this Foundry of the Shoals clock skillet, or skillet clock, however you want to say it, and just let everybody maybe see it and talk about it a little bit. One thing I do know, that these were probably given as Christmas gifts to their employees. They may have made extra to sell, I'm not really sure, but there was quite a few items that they did like that for Christmas gifts and also household items. If I can pull some pictures off the internet, I will share a few pictures of other items that I have found made by the Foundry of the Shoals that are really interesting. They did make another clock they call the frog clock, and I'll leave a picture on it as well. It's kind of a greenish color, kind of odd, and it is a frog clock. It's a clock with frogs kind of around it. Here's a picture of it. They also made another item that was bookends. Now, I haven't got a picture of them, but it was two frogs that were holding their hands up to hold the books together on a little weighted base, and together they would hold a small array of books. They also made a sundial, which was really cool, and they had two different pigs. One was a little piggy bank. Now, it was a little cast iron pig that came in two halves, and when you put it together, you drop your coins in. When you remove the coins, you had to pull it apart to get the coins out. They had another little pig that was just a Foundry of the Shoals pig. I'll leave a picture of one of them on there too if I can get a good one off the internet. They also had some horseshoes, and they were made out of cast iron, or maybe hopefully a little heavier than just regular cast iron. Maybe they had a little more steel in them, because you're throwing them things around. I just don't see how they would last if they was just cast iron. I believe they needed to have a little more steel involved in those to keep them from cracking, because as you and I both know, cast iron cookware is not indestructible. It's kind of brittle. So I believe they had to change the content a little bit on that. Now, if you know anything about that, please leave it in the comments as well. So I just thought I'd just take a minute and share that, and hopefully get some people involved in talking about the Foundry of the Shoals right here in North Alabama, and maybe learn something in the process as well. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please don't forget to subscribe. That really makes a difference. And I promise I'll keep more coming. And I just want to say thank you again for watching Cast Iron Cookware. Before we go, I just want to share something with you really quickly. In Proverbs chapter 18, verse 15 and 16, it says, "The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men." I just want to say, share the word and be a blessing.